Call this July 9th meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to ask Commissioner Nickel if he will lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner McCoy, if you would say grace, please.
Let us bow our heads for you. Dear Lord, we come before you this morning in our most humble way, thanking you for your many blessings and your mercy and grace. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless us, watch over us, and guide us, and that we ask special blessings upon this board and the citizens of Harnett County. This is my prayer.
All right. All right, item number 3, discuss a request from JCPC for permission to submit a county plan program agreements for the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Juvenile Crime and Justice Prevention Program. Kimberly. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all? Thank you for your time this morning. I am Kimberly Whitted. I am the chairperson of the Harnett County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, and I'm here to present the 2024-25 county plan that governs the allocations that are dispensed from the state to the county to spend on juvenile crime prevention. Each year, we're given an allocation from the state, and over the last few years, it's been the same amount, $320,045. With that, we open a request for proposals from different agencies and service providers in the county that provide services that we have advertised as needs for the youth in the Harnett County community. Some of those needs are parent and family skill building, interpersonal skill building, vocational skills, tutoring and academic enhancement, mediation, conflict resolution, restitution and community service, and teen court. And I highlight those because those are primarily the services that we do receive requests for funds each year. And then the council reviews those applications and then makes determinations based on the amounts that are requested against the priorities that we've set for the county. So for this coming fiscal year, we have awarded the Harnett County Juvenile Restitution and Community Service Program $130,477. That provides a restitution community service program as well as a teen court program. The teen court program that we have traditionally or had over the last few years been awarding has changed, oversight to the Harnett County Restitution Program. And they have a great plan set forward for the coming year for enhancing and promoting the teen court program within Harnett County. So we're really excited about that change. In addition, we've awarded the Harnett County Sheriff's Department PAL program $65,700. And that program provides tutoring services to towards the western part of the county. And we've also awarded the Dunn Powell School Kids Empower and Career Readiness Program. So once again, 2 different programs, one for tutoring for younger youth and career readiness for older youth. And we've awarded $118,898. The remaining funds, which are $5,000, we've awarded to the JCPC administration, so that helps with our administration of our monthly meetings as well as promotional items and in training that we have available for our members. Some things to highlight. As I mentioned, we've been awarded the $320,045 each year from the state, and we've actually been trying to promote within our membership a drive to petition the state to raise our funding, because as we know, we are expecting tremendous growth in the county, and we want to be able to have funds available to meet that growth of youth population within the county. And so any help from the county commissioners in that regard would be highly appreciated. And as always, we do try to start our RFP process as early as possible so that any funding that would be requested from the county, especially from the Harnett County Community Service and Restitution Program, can come before you all so that you can be aware of the needs that if we're not able to meet any funding requirements that they have requested. So with that, you have the plan before you, and I will have any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Whitted? What's the pleasure of the board? And put it on the consent agenda.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk? Okay. All right, item number 4. Developmental Services briefing on the following upcoming public hearings. Morning.
Hi there. Good morning, Commissioners. Sarah Arbor, Development Services, and it's a pleasure to be here before you all. So our first item coming before you for the July 15th public hearing is a request to rezone from the commercial to RA20M. It's about a 1-acre property located off of NC 210 in Spring Lake in the Anderson Creek Township. So the site is currently unimproved and heavily wooded. The property does have a 100-foot wide power line transmission, which encumbers the property pretty heavily. There's about 1/5 of an acre of the property tied up in this utility easement. To the best information available, it doesn't appear that this property was ever utilized for commercial purpose. It's always, this property appears to have always been vacant, and all of the surrounding land uses, some of which are also zoned commercial, it appears have been used for residential purposes in the past. So taking a look at some of the services available for the property, it doesn't appear that water or sewer services are available. As far as access to the property is accessed via an easement about 400 feet off of NC 210 South. And I've included several pictures here of the easement just to give you an idea of its condition. It does start off on a pretty steep incline coming off of NC 210, where it is gravel and dirt, and then kind of transitions to grass with some trees as well as you move closer to the site away from 210. Here we'll take a look at the zoning district compatibility. Here on the map, you can see this property is surrounded on all sides by the requested zoning district, RA20M. Next, we'll take a look at the land use classification map here. So you can see this property does have 2 land use classifications. One is that rural centers, which is a development node, which likely explains why this property has a commercial zoning designation to begin with. However, there is a larger part of the property which is located within the medium density residential land use classification. We've provided several photos here of the site for your review. You can see the power lines there. And just so that the board is aware, the applicant was not aware that this property was zoned commercial until they came into our office to start the building permit process for their residents. So that is why they are seeking this change in zoning. So as staff moved through our evaluation, we were able to answer all of our evaluation criteria in the affirmative. And staff is recommending approval that's based on the uses permitted within the zoning district being more compatible with the future land use classification and the surrounding land uses than the current zoning classification. And at the July 1st planning board meeting, the planning board did recommend 4-0 to recommend approval of the zoning change as well. We did not have any residents present to speak in opposition. Okay, and staff is open for any questions. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have people staying on this property?
No, ma'am. It's currently vacant, so there's no residents there.
No residents?
No residents present there. No, ma'am.
Gentleman that has a petition is wanting to put a primary residence there.
That is correct.
No, you have answered my question.
Okay.
I didn't know that I could ask you what they want to do with that, because I know with the business and all, they don't.
Absolutely.
It makes more sense now.
Mhm. Okay, good. Okay.
Go ahead.
Right.
Any more questions on this issue? Go ahead, do that.
Okay. So for our second item coming before you for the July 15th public hearing is a request to rezone from the RA40 to the RA30 zoning district. The applicant is Mattamy Homes. The property is about 100 acre. It's comprised of two properties making up about 100 acres along Brick Mill Road, and this is just to the in between NC 27 in the town of Coates, located in the Grove Township. So the site is it's comprised of two properties, and then the larger of the two is split by Brick Mill Road. Surrounding land uses consist of single-family residence and agricultural activities. There is a creek that runs along the northern property line, Thornton's Creek there, and around that area there are wetlands present on the property. There's also a pond located near the center of the property. As far as services available for the site, there's public water available. And it does have access to Brick Mill Road. North Carolina Department of Transportation did not have their annual average daily traffic counts for this section of Brick Mill Road. I did include that there's 900 daily trips, about a tenth of a mile down the road, closer to the intersection of NC 27 East. And site distances for this site are described as fair. The site does sit sort of, in the bend of Brick Mill Road. Site distances, if you're looking east towards the town of Coates, are pretty good. However, if you are closer to the intersection of Brick Mill Road and Harville Road, because of the topography as well as the curvature of the road, site distances there are pretty poor. So next we'll compare the RA40 and the RA30 as zoning districts. So the biggest difference between the uses in these two zoning districts are in the RA30, you could have a manufactured home with or without a special use permit, depending on if it were to meet the design criteria. There are also some commercial uses which are permitted in the RA30 zoning district, which are not permitted in the RA40 zoning district. And taking a look at the compatibility design concept table, you can see that this is just kind of showing what the dimensional differences are in the minimum lot sizes here. So for your RA40 zoning district, you would have a minimum lot size of 40,000 square feet. However, because there's public water available, that minimum lot size requirement could be reduced to 35,000 square feet. So that's a reduction of 5,000 square feet based on the availability of water here. If the property were to be developed into a major subdivision, a developer could potentially reduce that even further down to 28,000 square feet for minimum lot size, and also reduce the minimum lot width to 100 feet as measured along the road. However, it would require a higher quality development. So they would have to include street trees, sidewalks, curb and gutter in order to get there. In the RA30 zoning district, the minimum lot size base is 30,000 square feet. However, because there's the availability of public water here at the site, they would get an automatic 5,000 square foot reduction. So talking about a difference between 35,000 square foot minimum lot size with 150 feet minimum lot width and 25,000 square foot minimum lot size with a 100-foot minimum lot width. Okay, Dix will take a look at the land use classification. Thank you. So this property does have 3 land use classifications in the very top northwest corner. That is where the environmentally sensitive areas are. South of that is low density residential and agricultural rural residential for the section of the property located to the south of Brick Mill Road. And staff has provided several photos of the site for your review. These are taken from the north side of Brick Mill Road. Property of the south side of Brick Mill Road. Also wanted to just point out this is just a photo I wanted to include just of the intersection of Brick Mill Road and Harville Road to just kind of give you an idea of what the site distances may look like there. So as staff evaluated this rezoning request, staff is recommending denial, and that is based on the finding that this could have an unreasonable impact on the surrounding community due to the incompatibility, of the uses in the requested zoning district with the surrounding land uses. At the July 1st Planning Board hearing, the Planning Board did vote unanimously 4-0 to recommend denial of the zoning request as well. There were several residents from the surrounding community who attended. There were a few who spoke. They expressed concerns mainly about the potential impacts to the community if the property were to be rezoned, such as increased traffic along a narrow road, which is used for agricultural machinery, stormwater runoff, environmental concerns, and school capacity. And thank you very much. Staff's open for any questions.
There are no questions. Move to put these on for public hearing next week. Okay. Madam Clerk? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Item number 5, discuss a request to approve resolution accepting ARPA grant funds for the St. Matthews Road Utility Extension Project. Mr. Ward, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Happy to come before you this morning with a resolution to accept the $1 million ARPA grant for some water and sewer improvements in the town of Irwin. This is for a project we're proposing on St. Matthews Road. This is on the north side of 421 of St. Matthews. St. Matthews the south side runs back down from Zaxby's to Denham Drive, and then the north side runs right there across from the rental center. If you're familiar with that, there's a little shopping strip area just to the north, and then runs back down to Bryant Road and St. Matthew's Church, if you're familiar with that area. So the improvements would be a 8-inch water line on St. Matthews Road, turning on Bryant Road and tying into a 12-inch line that the county has on Red Hill Church Road. So increasing water pressure in that area for planned future development. If you've been by there lately, there's some storage buildings happening now on 421 that back up to St. Matthews Road. There's also a planned development on the Dunn side of St. Matthews Road going back toward Black River. So that's what this would help to promote within the town of Irwin. There's also some sewer improvements near 421 that are part of the planned project, just behind Porter Park, tying 2 main lines, the old Swift outfall line and the town's old outfall line that went to the former Irwin wastewater treatment plant. So just behind Porter Park there near 421. So got $1 million ARPA grant as well to do this. So the resolution is just having the county accept that grant in order to use those funds to for the project. Be glad to answer any questions.
I do.
Okay.
You got $1 million grant. Did the grant come directly to Honey Regional Water?
It does. Okay.
Okay, anything else put this on the consent agenda? Consent agenda, Madam Clerk. Looks like you're up again.
Absolutely. So in that same vein, we have the engineering contract for the project. Any type of ARPA project requires, one of the federal requirements is that we have a RFQ in order to select the consultant who does the engineering design. And we did that some time ago. And the contract, the engineer that we've selected is Myers Engineering PLLC out of Fuquay Varina. His attached agreement, or their attached agreement, is there for your review and purview. It's approximately $150,000 is the total. So we need to have the design completed before we can start the project, obviously. And again, this is time sensitive in that ARPA requires us to have this bid before the end of the year, and the funds have to be expended before the end of calendar year 2026. So we need to get moving on this project as contractors, because there's so much work out there, they're in short supply. So the contract's there for your review. It's got a project description too, if you looked at that. The state's already reviewed the project restriction before they would allow us access to the fund. So that's all been reviewed at the state level too. But I'll be glad to answer any questions about the contract.
Any questions from Mr. Ward? Put it on the consent agenda? Consent agenda, Madam Clerk. Wait.
All right, the final item here, of course, is for the board to approve the project ordinance authorizing the project to move forward. And so that's there for your review. You can see how the funds are allocated or estimated. It should not require any more funds besides the grant. The grant should actually be able to pay for all the construction, design, et cetera, that we want to do. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have about the project moving forward.
Put it on the consent agenda? Consent agenda, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm here today. I know originally the agenda item went out requesting the Commissioner's designated office space for the purpose of relocating the juvenile justice program, the court counselors that we house. It's a couple of moving parts there, so I'm not here to ask you about that today, but more just to give you an update on the situation we find ourselves in with juvenile justice. We are currently housing them off campus on Front Street, and a couple of weeks ago when we had that storm blow through Lillington, they suffered some damage to the roof. So we've had some leaking in the roof that's resulted in some damage to the carpet, lighting fixtures, and ceiling tiles. The owner of the building is looking at getting that repaired. We are at the end of the lease on that building, so plan currently, instead of me coming to you asking to re-up that lease, is we're just going to go month to month, which the current lease allows us to do until we can ensure that the repairs are done in a workmanlike manner. In the interim, we have offered juvenile justice the opportunity to move over to the building where where Sandhills formerly was, to allow them to continue operating without having to worry about any of the construction or work that's being done on the building they're currently in. They are talking to their supervisors to determine what the viability of that option is. I think right now the preference is for them that they would like to stay in the building they're in just because of location, proximity to the courthouse, as well as availability of their services to the folks that need it. But they're talking to their supervisors, and hopefully will be getting back to us this week. Just wanted to bring this to your attention because normally this time of year I'm coming to y'all with a lease, and that's not happening right now. So there's no action that really needs to be taken. It was more just wanted to make y'all aware of what's going on with that. Are there any questions?
Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 9.
Okay.
I believe that's yours as well.
Yes, sir. So item number 9 is a resolution authorizing Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs to purchase easements within Harnett County. So anytime a local government that is not predominantly situated within a county is looking to acquire any sort of land, they must get the essentially consent of the Board of Commissioners to do so. The water main that they are running from Sanford as part of the Sanford upgrade to regional water plant, and they're providing water to Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina. That transmission line, if it stayed within Chatham County, essentially would result in a landowner, but that land actually bisects Chatham County and Harnett County. So if they just went straight on through, it would result in another dog leg further on down, and it would essentially, they'd have to condemn his entire parcel of property. By allowing the water line to kind of run along the backside of his property, it would allow them to just purchase an easement, but also allow the landowner to keep the parcel and not lose the whole thing. That back part of the property, though, lies within Harnett County, which is why the request was brought by Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs to allow them to purchase an easement, within Harnett County's jurisdiction. Talked to their town attorney. I told him that we bring it to y'all and let y'all decide what y'all wanted to do with it.
Mr. Ward, do you have any comments on this?
I think it's a reasonable request, given looking at the situation, the way it would bisect the landowner's property. It won't be near Highway 42, which is the closest highway out that way. We were concerned about their original request, wanting to go down and maintain a water line on DOT's right away on Highway 42, where we've already got water. But this isn't the case, so I think this is a reasonable request, what they're asking for.
I had a call from the landowner about this, and the amount of property that's in Harnett County is very insignificant, really. It's not a whole lot of property besides what the water line will take up.
No consent agenda? All right, put it on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Will do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Number 10.
Yes, good.
Discuss a request for approval of participation in the National Opioid Settlement with Kroger. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. We have another potential national settlement that involves Kroger. This would be a $1.37 billion settlement for the nation. So approximately $40 million would go to North Carolina, and Harnett County's portion would be $337,456. This would be a 10-year payout and would follow the same rules of all the other settlements that we've received at this point and fall under that same MOA. So in order for this settlement to be approved, all of the counties in North Carolina have to sign off on this by August 12th of this year. Therefore, I'm asking that the board go ahead and accept the settlement and enter into the settlement agreement with Kroger. Happy to answer any questions.
Consent agenda.
So this is additional money to what we've already.
Correct. This will be in addition to the a little over $11 million that we're getting otherwise.
Okay, consent agenda, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Wells. Number 11, discuss a request for approval to accept $867,471 in funding provided through the Home and Community Care Block Grant and approval for $46,441 provided by NSIP. Mr. Trout.
Thank you, Chairman. This particular item relates to a grant that we use to assist our aging folks, providing nutritional services. It is an annual grant that we receive, and our health department administers the support for utilization of these funds, and we request approval to accept this funding.
Okay. Agenda. Okay, go ahead.
The grant is, for our seniors, is that what you're saying? For seniors.
It's a grant for the Department of Aging. Our aging department uses it.
Okay, that's all I want to know. You put it on the consent agenda.
Okay. Consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Will do.
Okay, item number 12, the review applications to serve on boards and committees. It looks like one issue we've got on here is Bryce Woodell for the Dunn Planning Board. I know him, he's a good fellow. I don't have problems with that.
Recommend approval for the consent agenda next week.
Everybody good? Okay, we'll put that one on the consent agenda for next week. Alliance Health Board of Directors.
Got the county manager applying. I recommend approval for that position next week on the consent agenda as well.
All good? Okay, put it on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
One comment I'd like to make, Chair, is they still are looking for critical individuals that meet the criteria for being a provider that can provide additional information. But they felt it's been long enough that they've been searching for those individuals that it would be better for us to have some representation. So they requested that I serve on the board. But ultimately, their hope is to find others that have some information that they can provide based on their profession, et cetera. And then at that point, then I'll step away from that board.
All right, put that on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk. Is there, let's see, County Manager's report.
Thank you, Chairman. Really nothing new other than you'll notice that it has request for bid approval for sodium hydroxide chemical supply. Through our processes annually, we bid, especially in HRW and some other departments, annually we bid certain items out and then bring them before you for approval. Past action, the way we've handled it is it's presented at a work session. Each director would need to come, present that information, and then it's put on consent agenda and then approved. I think we're looking at is implementing a new system where we will put it under my manager's report as an item when we have a work session, and then if no objections are filed, it'll be under consent. That will save time and effort by our staff related to this regular occurring type of items. If we have an item that brings forward, because after receiving this one that we added to the agenda, HRW had additional items that they brought forward that need approval, I will put them under the county manager's report for approval, similar to what we do with budget amendments. So the hope is that we're approving these quicker and with less impact as far as our agenda and staff time. So we'll try it, we'll see if it works, and hopefully it'll streamline our operations a little bit. Still providing you, though, all the documentation related to each of the bids will be in your packet for review. That's all I have, Chairman. Any questions?
Okay. Any comments?
Would you like the bid for the approval? For,
Yes, just to request that it go on to consent agenda for that one.
Put it on the consent agenda, Madam Clerk.
Will do, thank
All right,
you.
Mr. Snow has indicated that we do not need a closed session. I'm assuming he's still standing by that.
Correct.
At this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion has been made properly second. Everybody stand up and go home.